Hey guys, welcome back to Business Bites, where we deliver quick, valuable knowledge that's easy to digest. And today I'm very excited to have Nicole from Birth to 5 Illinois here. So if any of you don't know what Birth to 5 is, Illinois, we will have Nicole actually speak on this. But today we're going to talk about early childhood education and why it matters. I'm not a parent myself, but honestly, this is such a unique topic that I have nieces and nephews, I have siblings that have kids. Like, it's a great organization. And once I met Nicole, I figured like this is such a great topic because how we teach our next generation is so important for just mental health, growth, and yeah. So let's take it away. So Nicole, tell us about yourself.
Like Kelsey said, my name is Nicole Bach. I'm the regional manager for Birth to 5 Illinois Region 44, which covers McHenry County. I have actually been in the early childhood field for almost 28 years now.
Wow. You don't look, no, there's no way.
Since I graduated high school. What Birth to 5 Illinois is, it's a statewide agency that's embedded in every single community in Illinois. And what I mean by that is we are divided into 39 what we call regions.
Okay.
So again, I'm Region 44. No, I don't know why the numbers are the way they are, because we follow the same numbers as the Regional Office of Education.
Okay.
And what's really great about it is that we can be embedded in every community because, like, for me and my team, I only have to worry about McHenry County. So I can be in every town and community to hear what the needs are, because what we do is we listen to parents and caregivers. We share what we learn with the decision makers, and we help get the changes started in the community, not just talk about them.
Yeah.
So our mission is that every child, we don't care, what your background is, what your skin color is, religion, language, every child has what they need before they enter kindergarten.
Yeah.
And our main goal is to listen to the voice of the families. Yeah. They are the ones raising the children, so we want to hear from them. And then we're the middle person, because I then talk to senators and representatives and those, decision makers, and let them know, hey, this is what families are saying they need in McHenry County, so that they can work on either new or expanding programs that are already created to help these community needs.
Yeah. And this is where it's great being involved in the chamber and getting to meet Nicole. And so if you are listening to this as one of our chamber businesses and not just a community member, having this knowledge and meeting people like Nicole is so important, because you can give this education to not only your staff, friends and family, other businesses that you probably network with that need to know this information too. And when we first met, I just thought, where was this when I was young? How long have you guys been doing this now?
4 years.
4 years. So it's great to see that we're adapting and we're growing as a society and we're meeting the needs that people are putting in place. And I think that just starts with this. And so I'm really excited to kind of hear more about what you guys have to offer, how you can help the community, and what we can do for early childhood development. So the meat of our podcast today is the voice of the families, starting at kindergarten, right? So 0 to 5, right?
Before kindergarten.
I'm sorry, before kindergarten. So 0 to 5, right? So that's probably the most influenced time of our lives, right? We can all sit here and say that we didn't learn the things that our parents taught us, but we pick up on that kind of stuff. So when you're a mom or a dad or a grandparent that's, raising children, they're going to learn this stuff 0 to 5, right? That's what sets your life up the rest of your life. And so this is important to have these communications and have you in place to be able to talk about this and help individuals find the necessary information they need to.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit more. What do you want to talk about today?
So I want to talk about, first of all, how we do our work, because we tell people what we do and they're just like, how do you do that?
How do you do it?
One, we have action and family councils, and our action councils are comprised of those people who just want to be involved in the early childhood work. So they might be agency workers, maybe early intervention, home visiting, WIC, maybe they're elected officials, or work in the early childhood field. But it's really anybody who wants to be involved in helping the lives of children 0 to 5.
Yeah.
Then we have family councils, and those are comprised of caregivers, so it could be parents, foster parents, grandparents who are raising those children. And we say anyone who has children under the age of 8
Okay.
can be
That's
part of
good
the
to know.
family council. And we meet once a month separately, we meet virtually, and that's where we get our information and those voices and start doing the work. But we also gather data. So, of course, we get data from the state, but we want to talk with the families. We will put out surveys. We'll do one-on-one interviews with them. We will hold listening sessions. We talk with agency or families at different kind of events like the Beach Bash.
Yeah.
We also talk with those agencies that serve families that have kiddos 0 to 5 to say, hey, what are your clients saying?
Yeah.
Because again, we want to hear from families that might live in a homeless shelter to families that might, bring home more than $1 million a year. Because we want to make sure every single child has what they need.
And honestly, it doesn't, demographic, like you'd mentioned, doesn't play a huge factor. Like, early childhood development can come differently, even for $1 million homes too. It's all about how the parents are teaching their children and the things that are the resources that they're provided. And so it's great to see that you have such a wide spectrum, because loving your children, taking care of them doesn't just change because of your dollar amount. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, right? And so so it's really great to know that you guys are surveying and doing this stuff to really find accurate data and information that's important. I read in your, we kind of talked and, got some information. 0 to 3 years of age, 90% of children's brain is formed, right? And you don't think about it right away, but you really do. And so what you're teaching, what they're picking up before they start going to school, those are all things that mold children's futures, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're asking those things. What services does your child need?
Yeah.
How have you been able to access them, or what barriers are there? Because that's how we know what work to start.
Yeah.
So again, we participate in a lot of family events so that we can talk with families that come to different things. Like I said, the Beach Bash, or people in need.
I seen you guys at the police.
National Night Out.
National Night Out. So if you guys are attending those, make sure you stop by their booth just to get the information.
Yep.
Even if it's not for you, this is so valuable. One thing I love is that I feel like I'm an encyclopedia sometimes with the chamber. Because if somebody calls me and they're like, hey, do you have a guy? I'm like, yes, I do. I'm like, I know exactly who you should call. And it's great. Knowledge is power, right? And so whether this has anything to do with you, you're going to come across someone who's having a kid or you see somebody that has a 0 to 5-year-old that might need this assistance, and you're going to feel better about yourself knowing that you can educate them and get them this proper resources.
And we are connectors. Because we will have families who don't know what Birth to 5 Illinois is.
No.
So they will either call or email and say, hey, my child needs speech therapy, or hey, can you help me pay for childcare? Well, then I connect them with a resource that can do that, because we don't provide any direct service.
Yeah.
But we do help families. We are also at a lot of networking events, because I want to talk to people who are outside of the field, like you all, and let you know how important, if we either have early childhood education or we don't, how it affects the business and the economy.
It was just actually, I was thinking about this, the other day we had a random snow day in March. It was a Monday, and all the school systems closed down. We went to something that was talking about just childcare, and a lot of people had to take off work that day or use a sick day because now their kids are off school, right? And so those are opportunities and times where it's okay, well, I can't afford childcare, right? It was one of the numbers you had given was over 14,000 people birth to 5 have without access to childcare. And so that's a big number.
In our county.
And that's just in our county.
That's just in McHenry County. And granted, not all parents will send their children to a child care program, but a lot want to, and they just can't because there's not enough.
And so on a flip of this, obviously these business bites are driven both towards outside individuals and chamber members, but anybody that owns a business, having these mind sets is important, because how are you helping your families or your employees that have children 0 to 5, right? Those might be hard for somebody to have to ask for a day off because their kid got sick or things like that. So how are we working as a community to just better that piece? Because I think ultimately, the more we can give and the more we can provide, just help kids growing up properly and growing up healthy and happy and just not feeling that struggle, right, that we have to having a kid. And so I think those are just all important things. And I love that they're connectors. I think that's a big piece to this. That's great because, Nicole mentioned that they're just McHenry County, but the other birth to 5 locations. So if you have a sister or a cousin or an uncle that lives in a different region, you can also help by providing them with which one to call, which one to talk to, which region to know which one to get in touch with, right?
Yep. And I do talk a lot with my King County partner because him and I both share District 300.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we do talk. And if you want to learn more on our website, we actually have our report. So our year 1, we wrote our early childhood regional needs assessment. Again, this is only McHenry County. And we talked with those agencies, families, and early childhood providers to find out what is going well, what do we need to work on. And based on what they said we need to work on, we then developed an action plan. And
nice.
One of the things we heard more than anything is parents said, I don't know where to go. So one of what we developed, and we have actually passed out, oh my gosh, well over, my admin just came up with the number, I forget, but well over 1,500 of these around the county. We've had people ask for more because parents are taking them. But it just talks about in here a little pamphlet, what you can, where you can get resources if you need early intervention, if you want the child care resource and referral agency.
Yeah, it's nice.
Head Start, home visiting. It also has, it has school readiness goals in there. And then one of the things we heard as parents said that they would love an online resource. So one of our former Action Council members, who has now passed it on to a family council member, started Northern Illinois Parents, and there's a QR code there, and it just has all different resources on there for parents in McHenry County.
And so many more people are coming together and providing better resources, which is great, right? Like growing up, I don't know if some of these things were in place, and if I did, it was hard to find it, right? We didn't have social media, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have everything McHenry that says like, hey, where can I find this information? And so as you guys listen to this is something that we'd love for you to share on those pages to just get the word out there. That is, I think, the biggest first step of just growth and change, and having these resources actually matter is sharing it, right? They've worked so hard to produce all of these pieces for anyone that is struggling with anything, right? In the early childhood education side of things. And I think it's important to just know that one share could go 1,000 miles. And I think that's really important, is helping these families and parents and grandparents and foster parents understand that there are people out there for him. And that's so important.
Yep. And just really quick, our last report.
Yeah.
The state came back to us because all 39 early childhood regional needs assessment mentioned mental and behavioral health as an issue. Yes. So they had us do a shorter one on mental and behavioral health for those kiddos 0 to 5. And then we started working on some needs for that also.
Mental health is huge.
It is.
I talk about that a lot, and just, mental focus. We get in our own minds, even as adults, right? And so it's important to have good mental health, and that's awesome that you guys have produced that. And obviously it's the need that everyone's asking for. So that's exciting. So it's awesome. So explain to me, the good news is that you can get involved. Each Birth to 5 Illinois region has what's called Action to Family Councils. You mentioned that, right?
I mentioned that. Yep. And if you want to get involved with that, you fill out an interest form. They open every spring. So those will be opening very soon and will be on all the Birth to 5 Illinois websites.
So what's the interest form?
The interest form are some questions about you to show why you are interested in either being an Action or Family Council. And then they go to our state leadership team.
Okay.
And they decide who will be on the council, because we can only have 20 family council members and 20 action council members. And sometimes people want to stay on longer, so we might have fewer spots, but It just depends. But we have to live in the areas we serve. So to make sure that we're not having any bias, the state leadership team does pick who will be on
Oh, nice,
the councils.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. And I think that's important. You want to live where you're right? Like
Yeah.
even just like running for mayor or something, you have to live in your town, right? Because
Yes.
otherwise if you don't live in the town that you're serving, you might not really know the needs of your town. But it's great. Honestly, it's been wonderful just working with you and just getting to know more. Like I said, I don't have kids myself, but I have a lot of friends that have children, and if they ever came to me and said that they needed assistance, or just even educating them on just, what are you doing with your child between 0 to 5 to teach them? I know my brother and his wife just had a baby, and they're really focusing on this piece because honestly, it really starts when we're younger, right? We can pivot our lives as we grow, but if we don't have the right assistance or help or means to understand how to do that, so, that's where a lot of that starts and where we see that mental and behavioral changes and health issues.
Yep. And like Kelsey said, I told her how 90% of the child's brains form between 0 and 3. So all those connections are happening. And imagine if you had everything you needed during those years, how much different life would be as you are going through things as a teenager or as an adult. If you figured things out when your brain was actually forming. And that's something that a lot of people don't know or don't register, especially if you're not in this field.
Yeah. We talk about
but it's happening.
Yeah. How many of you have seen just online bullying or other things? Like a lot of that's picked up from what they've learned as they were younger. And so unfortunately, the generation before that and the generation before that, they all learned that same exact way, right? They learned all of those things. And so to change how we move forward, we have to start with now, right? So this is a 4-year venture that they've done. And so making that difference now will set us up for the future, for our kids' futures. And I think it's a great step forward to fixing some of the things in the world, right? And so if you've ever struggled, or, I'm sure this video is going to relate to a lot of teachers, forward-facing individuals like what are I'm drawing a blank on where daycares. Sorry, I'm like, what's the word?
Childcare, yeah.
Childcare. But they deal with this, right? We see these kids come in and you're like, oh my God, who taught them this? Well,
and that's one of the things that we promote is supporting those early childhood educators, treating them like the professionals that they truly are.
Yeah.
Let me go into the business side of this.
Yeah.
Because it really does matter to those people who work in business. Ready Nation Illinois did a research poll. They talked with business owners and executives between December of 24 to January 25 and found that 91.5% of business leaders think there should be a greater public investment in childcare.
Which is awesome.
Why? Well, 81% of their employees struggle to find stable, affordable childcare.
Yep.
Almost 67% said that they have seen a reduction in productivity with employees who lack that stable childcare. 66% said that they have seen employees lose hours because of childcare struggles, and those are just some of the statistics. There's more.
Yeah.
So really, early childhood education is important to everyone in the community, but the good news is you can get involved.
Yeah.
So you can join, like I said, you can join an action or family council. You can also sign up for our bi-monthly newsletter, like our regional Facebook page. We even have a family story page where you can share your experience with local early childhood services that you've been a part of.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. And see, the power of the internet nowadays is we can find things and these resources we didn't have before. And so that was one of the questions I was going to ask outside of, online avenues. Where can we find these amazing pamphlets? And so if you are a local business, or I feel like insurance company, if you're an insurance agent in our chamber, these should be given to anybody that deals with people, right? Especially young individuals. And so if you're watching and you want to have some of this items in your location, I think this is important, not only just for you to read and learn yourself, but also to have it as a resource. I'm even like thinking dentists,
that's what we're going to start working on. We just started working on a new recommendation, putting it together, our SMARCLs, to put them in the medical offices and dentists, chiropractors. And that came from the Family Council because they said, even these people don't know as many resources as you do.
Yeah. And when you're sitting there and you're waiting for, your teeth to be cleaned or whatever, and you pick this up, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing. This is amazing. I need to give this to so-and-so, or I could use this myself. And so
Yep, and we're nonprofit. So if somebody called me and said, hey, I want 25 pamphlets, I'm not going to charge you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah. It's about getting the information out there and just supporting the efforts that Birth Defy Illinois has put out. And so I'm so excited, and I think it's great that you guys are just doing what you do. And it's like good people like this that set up the world with better access to certain things. And it's so exciting. And so if you guys are listening and you have any suggestions, obviously you should join the Family Council or the
Action Council.
Or the Action Council, but feel free to put them in the suggestions in the comments. Nicole will review all of that. And, it's great things to bring back to her team.
Yep.
So.
And just know you don't have to solve the entire system, but every business can do something. Support your employees, partner locally, like with us, use your voice, because small changes at the business level create real stability for families and the workforce.
Yeah, it's so true. It's what we talked about, time off, sick days, different sick days. Like, I know that I've seen some even businesses changing over with like having like time for breast pump or, whatever that's called. I don't have kids. Pumping, thank you. But it's just little things, right, that you can do that just helps your employees, right? We're already having a hard time keeping and retaining employees. Like if it's something that's important to you, to keep great employees, think about if you were on the other side and receiving this, would you want the same thing? And I think that's important to think about is, give back to them what you would hope to get back for you. And so I think it just starts at square one. And so do you have anything else to share with us today?
No, you can, like I said, you can go to our website, which is birth25, and the 5 is spelled out, il.com/region 44.
Perfect. So if you're in McHenry County, go to that. And even if you need to go there first to figure out which county you're in, if you need help, I'm sure their information is up there for you guys to find. And if you are a local business and you participate in McHenry Chamber activities, look for Nicole. She's at almost everything now. It's like a new car. I always say, now that you've seen her face, you're going to see her everywhere. And you're like, wait, how do I know you? But she's a whirlwind of knowledge, not only just about Birth Defy Illinois, but just so many different things as she's involved in so much. So definitely take advantage of her as a resource, especially when it comes to childhood education. So. Well, thank you guys. We look forward to our next Business Bite. Otherwise, thank you again for coming on and listening, and we will talk to you soon.